Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Rakakadash, double honors, the elders and apostles, the great millstone, who are teachers of this truth and sincerity. And a shout out to your Akims out there on the four quarters of the earth proclaiming this truth. Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Rakakadash, Brakatum. So we got a lot of distraction in the news lately, right? But it is still relevant, right? But nonetheless, though, as you know, probably heard of, Damascus was attacked on Saturday, but that really didn't get covered in the news very much, right? Unless you happened to catch it on press TV, of course, because most were covering the assassination attempt on Donald J. Trump, which seemed to be a staged event. Nonetheless, though, it did happen, and his ear was swiped. Now, like everything else, though, there's been videos surfacing that the special teams, the snipers that were supposed to protect Donald Trump, deliberately allowed someone else with a rifle to actually get off a few shots before they even took out the guy. And they said that he was an Antifa member. That's the official story, but nonetheless, though, you could see it clearly on the alternative videos that, yeah, there were snipers on the roof, but they allowed him to get a few shots off. But his ear did get hit. Now, what's interesting is that you have another Edomite that actually had a dream about this. Yeah, and that Donald J. Trump gave his life to JC and won the election. He had a total visual about that like 3 months ago. Well, we're in the times now that young men shall see dreams and visions. This is plural. This, in other words, this is everyone should have dreams and visions, which include the heathen nations. And JC is the name that they go by, right? So, it makes sense, right? But this is 3 months before, and this is a video that's been surfacing, which I got from another brother.
America all throughout, and I saw Trump rising up, and then I saw an attempt on his life. This bullet flew by his ear, and it came so close to his head that it busted his eardrum. And I saw he fell to his knees during this time frame, and he started worshiping the Lord. He got radically born again during this time frame. I'm talking, people say he's saved now, but he becomes really on fire for Jesus from what I saw coming. And then I saw people interceding when I saw him winning the presidency through great. The Lord showed me it would go clear into the summer. Great persecution would come on him through the judges and through the law and all these people trying to sue him and all this stuff. But there would be a stop to it, and things would start to break free come toward the fall. And then I saw him winning the election through the Patriots coming out and voting. And
so, like everything else, though, that's like a vision that someone had. Slovakia, that's gone to a commercial, how that is, right? But nonetheless, so that's a vision that someone had, right? But we're in the times that, of course, young men shall see dreams, and shall dreams and see visions, and that's not just Israelites, but that's just all around the world. That includes heathens, including Esau, right? So nonetheless, though, like everything else, though, it doesn't matter which one of them wins, anyways. But the fact is, though, is that, that's part of a distraction, but I thought it was interesting anyways. But it looks like it was a deliberate attempt, right? And if you know the history of Antiochus Epiphanes and Nero, this does not come as surprising, because, again, Antiochus Epiphanes and both Nero, of course, wanted to mark everyone. In fact, Antiochus Epiphanes did give everyone a mark. It wasn't a digital mark, not like what's going on now, but, Biden said in his speeches, can a microscopic tag be used to track someone's every movement? Donald J. Trump told you it's like a microchip, trying to push forward Operation Warp Speed. Now, it doesn't matter which one of those wins, because, of course, they're going to push the New World agenda, no matter which one of them wins. At the very end of the day, hey, it is going to form into a one world government and one world currency, a digital currency. And everybody's going to be moved to a central bank digital currency. And like everything else, though, yes, they are going to implant you with a microchip. At the very end of the day, implantable micro chip, and that's what it's really all about, is that agenda, to implant everyone, to control them. Again, they're tongues shall fall upon themselves, and you've caught it in their speeches. Even, you could catch Barack Obama saying that we're supporting ISIL units in Syria, to overthrow Bashar al-Assad. It was a slip of the tongue. He meant to say that he was supporting the Syrian rebels, but he said ISIL, because of course then he knows, and even Vladimir Putin has put him in place and said, well, whose idea was it to arm terror groups, to overthrow the legitimate government of Syria, And like everything else, though, see, the Arab League is coming together, and Syria is a big part of that. So like everything else, though, with this distraction of Donald J. Trump, being nearly assassinated, you had bombing going on in Syria. And, of course, there was always increased activity going on in the Israeli state against Palestine, But these Israelis were also, wreaking havoc on Lebanon, So you got all that spilling over, right? But that was all drowned out because, hey, come Sunday morning, man, that's all that there was, man. I went to go work out at Planet Fitness, and that's all there was on the TVs, whether you have CBS or any of the other ones. That's all that the talking points was about that. Well, duh. Yeah, okay. That was a major event. He was in the middle of the speech, and then, some shots were fired. But like everything else, though, everything's a stage, so they are going to come, because what did Biden do after that? Oh, of course, he was the first to say something about it. And then, of course, to suspend the campaign. But, of course, Trump continued on with the campaign. Now, I don't think that Trump went back to the UFC fight, which he was planning to go see, because he does go to these UFC fights a lot. I don't think he made it there that night. But nonetheless, though, hey, this is what happened, Things are turning up. I mean, this has been deemed the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. And Jacob's trouble is quite simply put when they make the MOTB mandatory, right? The central bank digital currency, when it all becomes one. When they crash the system of the petrodollar. Now, like everything else, though, it doesn't matter which one of them becomes the presidency, because they're just the ones that wear the suit. But yeah, it can lean towards, especially after surviving something like that, I could see the people, really getting behind him, Why not? It's a good distraction. Plus, a lot of people still believe he's going to save the day, even though he brought them Operation Warp Speed, even though he still made, still locked down everything, still pushed forward the New World Agenda, still pushed the World Economic Forum. And don't forget, he supports the Israeli state 1,000%. So he's really no different than Biden when it comes to that. He may not push the electric vehicle as much, but, you can't save something that's already dead. See, this place has a due date, And see, that's the Most High's due date, Yeah. And they know that they're getting closer, right? Donald J. Trump said in his own words that we must reject these prophets of doom. See, even he knows that the time is short, And that's just it, though, is that, you see, they do know that they're near the end. So they are desperate to get their agenda fulfilled, right? To fill his belly. When Esau gets close to filling his belly, that's when the times will come, because, more sedition will arise, right? Because, they put out the movie Civil War this year, right? And so we definitely know that it doesn't matter which one of them wins, right? That there still will be civil uprisings, right? Because you saw the stuff in 2020, the Antifa and, Black Lives Matter, all that stuff, You don't see more insurrections coming? Of course there will be. 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 14, it reads, Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and the destruction draw nigh. And that's, of course, talking about, World War III. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. Well, you saw the assassination attempt itself. And of course their actions shall stand in their power. Again, Man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Why? Because they're locked down. Martial law, etc. Because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Because it's going to be unsafe to enter certain neighborhoods. As if there isn't enough of that, but it's going to increase. Everything's going to intensify. Everything's going to be turned up. Man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but destroy their houses with the sword. And what's that modern day sword? The gun, right? and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. You know, and that's just it. Great tribulation is coming. You know, now like everything else, though, you know, this great tribulation that's coming, of course, is when they make the MOTB mandatory, right? Where it's going to hinder what you can do. You know, because again, you know, you're not going to be able to freely access cash anymore. You're going to have a time limit on there. You know, it's all going to have data stamps, etc. Because it's all going to be digital very soon here. You know, that's what's happening. Everything's going bankrupt. You're seeing things close right and left. Redbox, which put a lot of people out of business, right? Put the video stores, took Blockbuster out. You know, took Netflix, you know, DVD service out, right? Redbox, well, they're gone now. You know, so, you know, how much more? You know, that was a huge awakening, you could say. You know, that went out. And you got a lot of other places downsizing, right? You know, and then you just get, it's a continual downward spiral. You know, places are closing right and left because, of course, you know, there's not a lot of extra money. You know, we used to have two movie theaters, actually 3 different movie theaters in this area, right? Now it's just down to the one, and they can charge whatever price they want to. You know, because now we're just, because we had one in Anderson and we had 2 here in Redding, now it's just down to the one. And they can charge whatever price they want. Well, who's got $25 to go see a movie with their loved one, right? You know, $25 is a lot of money. Well, now that Redbox is out there, you could have rented a movie for $2, but now they can just charge $6 or $7 to rent a movie. You know, because renting DVD format, that's not even there anymore. But you see, that's just it, the affordability. You know, and that's the whole push for the electric vehicle, because only the rich people are going to be able to afford that now. Like everything else, though, that did really catch on. A lot of people did buy them, and then a lot of people didn't buy them. A lot of people were fine. If it's not broke, why fix it? You know, because, hey, it's a flawed system. You know, if it only runs on a battery and then that battery is gone, or that battery is malfunctioning, or it's leaking battery, you know, fluid, you're in big trouble. And then those fires can't even be put out on those things. You know, so it's a flawed system. It's not really one that's been well practiced. You know, and charging stations, who wants to wait all day, you know, just to power up their vehicle, you know? And not to mention, it's not like you're getting any break there, you know. You know, those little tags that they give you at the charging station, that still goes to your electric bill, which is going to be huge. So only rich people are going to be able to afford to drive those to begin with, you know. And then you have heat waves going on, right? I mean, you know, that's what's going on in Redding, you know. All last couple of weeks, man, it's been a huge heat wave, and, you know, well over the hundreds, you know. Even the lows were the hundreds, you know, but it's calmed down a little, but not a lot, you know. And then you got the power, Hurricane Beryl, that came out, all just around the 4th of July, you know. So this month has really kicked off with a bang, you know, bang, 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 you know, to put that into quite modern terms, right, you know, bang, 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 you know. Violence is going to keep turning up, though. You see, because this place was taken by violence, so therefore it's going to go out with violence. You know, it's going to be sedition everywhere. You know, this is just a prelude to what's going to happen. You know, so like everything else, though, you know, we're just watching and seeing what the next move is. You know, but you know, we're still going to keep on enduring till the very end. And we see that over there, you know, that indeed that they're continuing to extinguish, you know, people from the Gaza area, and the rest of the world is getting sick of it, and they're coming together. They're coming confederate against the Israeli state, the Amalekites, you know, and that's going to draw everyone in because, again, you know, it's going to flare up, then it's going to die down, it's going to flare up, and then eventually, you know, the Israeli state is going to take that Samson option, taking Damascus out, which is going to start World War III more than anything else, you know. But before that happens, the MOTB must be made mandatory. So everything's going to be turning up, you know. But first, of course, they're going to go after this word, as if there ain't enough draconian laws there. You know, they're going to make it to where you can't even come out here and teach anymore, you know. hey, you already seen that algorithms have changed on these formats, you know. You got to be very careful what you say on these formats, you know. And like everything else, though, you know, that has hindered a lot of things, right? Because even that had caused me to have to put it on other formats, you know. Even though I still was putting videos up, you know, not like I was with YouTube, because YouTube is the most popular format. But there are other ways, you know. Now Odyssee's got a newer technique that they're doing, you know, to where it like goes on, you know, up in the air, and then it like goes to all the formats. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but either way, though, you know, that's only for a short time. Because like everything else, though, this word has been hurting Esau Edom, you know. It's all coming together, you know. And once this word has gone out, you know, then the famine of the word happens, you know. And then prophecy, you know, it just takes off. That's why you see an acceleration in prophecy. That's why you're seeing all the men gather there in the valley of Yehoshaphat. And that's why you're seeing more and more, you know, of these things happening, you know. So, you know, exciting times are ahead, but like everything else, though, we're also getting prepared. You know, we're getting prepared for what's going to happen, because, again, you know, they're going to use food and water as a means of motives to get people to submit, you know, causing all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive the implant, the implantable micro-C-hip, which is coming, you know. That's what they plan to do, order out of KO. You know, just like they got everybody to take the you-know-what, that's what they're going to do here. You know, you got to be careful how you word these things, especially when you're on the format of YouTube, but, you know, that's what's going to happen, you know. So, like everything else, though, you know, a lot of people are going to be led to the slaughter, you know, just like they were in 2020 on up. They surely will when it comes time to receive that micro-C-hip. 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 10, Behold, my people is led to the slaughter, led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, which is talking about modern-day Egypt, Babylon the Great, America. I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Now before, when he raised a mighty hand against Pharaoh and his armies, he only destroyed the armies, right? He didn't destroy the land of Egypt, so you know that this is talking about modern day Egypt. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with a plague and punishment that Yahweh shall bring upon it. You know, which is talking about nuclear destruction. And, of course, as you know, a famine will happen. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful consolation. You know? So this is going to be felt. You know? And like everything else as that draws nigh, well, he's going to come in with more draconian laws. You know? Revelation chapter 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, which is the New World Order. Because the New World Order will commence out of chaos, order out of chaos, and then the New World Order will form. That the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many would not conform to the image of the beast should be killed, should be cut off. You know, they had those camps in Alcatraz for those that didn't want to conform. So they'll have more over here. They already have them all over Canada. And you know about the FEMA coffins that are over here. Oh, they plan to use them. And he caused us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive an implant in their hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the name of the beast or the number of his name. You know? So, you know, those that don't have this implantable micro-C-hip, you know, which also comes in the form of a brain C-hip, which is to reprogram you. A lot of people for their rehabilitation program, just like what you saw in Universal Soldier, or yeah, you could say some Universal Soldier, but mostly Demolition Man, and of course Total Recall. They're going to reprogram your memories. You know, they're going to implant you with new memories, you know, as part of your rehabilitation for reduced sentences, or to just to make you fit for society again, or you'll be in prison indefinitely. or you go on death row. This is going to be part of the rehabilitation center. So this is all part of the bond. Those that are in bondage, that are in prison, are going to take that deal. But like everything else, though, there's a certain, punishment for that. And that's the punishment that comes from Yahweh, the weapons of his indignation, being cast alive in that lake of fire. Yeah, we sound like a broken record when it comes to that, but this is not your ordinary death. This ain't just where you just get killed. This is where you get kept alive while being killed. You die 1,000 deaths, as one of those songs by Metallica goes. You die 1,000 deaths. Being kept alive as you burn to death, even though you'll want to die, but you can't because you're in pain, agonizing, gnashing of teeth, from that fire as it burns you. And that's the nuclear fire. So that's why we harp on this more than anything else, because you don't want to be cast alive in that lake of fire. That is, if you're part of the elect. Now, this place is meant for the wicked, because this is that wicked place, the place of Sodom and Egypt, where our power was crucified, meaning that we didn't know who we were. We wasn't taught, who our power was. We were taught JC. We were taught plantation Christianity. We were taught the image of Cesare Borgia. We were taught that Edomites were the superior race, but they weren't called Edomites. They were called white people, and that they were superior, and that we were the dung of the earth, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But you see, now it's come out that Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the real Israelites. And then you have the scattered among them that look like the other nations that will also be Israelites. And that's all come out, you see. And the number of them is as the sand of the sea. And that's all come out, you see. The song of the 144,000 has been sung for quite a while. So we know that, the end is drawing near, And we're telling you that Babylon the Great ain't going to stand much longer. That it's falling in every way possible. It's economically dead. The petrodollar is dead. It's just a matter of time that they pull the plug on it. And then they change the system over and bring in that new world order, which is better known as the beast system, which is going to come in the form of central bank digital currencies. You're hearing about these bank bail-ins. You're hearing about everything being digitalized, being brought to the new wave, to the new, well, you heard the new term, the new normal, right? So everything's being gradually changed, Everything's being downsized. So, hey, we told you a long time ago that there would be more and more conflicts, that you'd hear wars and rumors of war, right? So, well, Magog, has recently stated, Vladimir Putin has stated that as they move into NATO countries, NATO countries, they're threatening to put missiles near, or build missiles in Germany. He's now saying that he can wipe out NATO countries, and so that's going to cause a lot, those that were at peace, because a lot of EU nations don't support a war with Russia, by the way, So, Revelation chapter 17, verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So a lot of those EU nations that were once with Babylon are going to turn on Babylon, and you're seeing that, because a lot of them don't support this war with Ukraine. They don't support trying to overthrow the government with Georgia. They really didn't support the overthrow of Yugoslavia either. But like everything else, though, they had to eat the Babylonian Jews, because at that time, though, Russia was not an ally of theirs. But see, things are turning up, right? Because the Most High is making Russia a lot more powerful, And like everything else, though, one of the main NATO allies, Turkey, has more friendship going on with Russia, So they're trying to get other countries over there to turn them into NATO members, because Turkey has taken a turn. Most of their terrorist groups, Turkey is now brokering a deal with Russia to now, allow things to go back to the way they were, with the Syrian government running everything. So that backfired on the U.S. and their interest in Syria. You see, like everything else, though, Magog is being a guard unto those places, right? And is a guard unto Turkey, because Gomer, which is Turkey, would be protected. But these 10 horns, though, they are also going to turn on, because, like everything else, though, NATO only serves the interest of Babylon the Great. They don't really serve the interest of the EU. So that's where the 10 horns are really going to differ, And like everything else, though, World War III is right around the corner. So is that all the men of war drawing there? Because remember, it's a world war, but they're also going to come up to that Valley of Yehoshaphat, which is right there in Saudi Arabia and all the surrounding countries, right? All these countries are going to come together because there's one main enemy that's there, the Israeli state, Amalek. Amalek's going to draw them all in, as if they're not doing enough yet. But once they, make their moves against Damascus, taking Damascus out, that'll start World War III. Everybody knows that would start World War III. And yet that event is very much mentioned in these scriptures. So, it's just a matter of time. But one thing has to happen first, right? MOTB. So, you'll hear wars and rumors of wars, famines, pestilences, earthquakes in diverse places. And you're going to see a lot of sedition among men, right? Invading one another, civil uprisings. Men not regarding their princes or their kings, right? Just like that assassination attempt. You're going to see a lot more things like that turn up. Well, I really didn't think that there would be one on Trump. I really thought that they would go after RFK Jr., especially with all the history of the Kennedys, right? I'm not saying that they should do that, but I'm just saying that I'm surprised that that didn't happen. Because RFK Jr. has even asked for extra security, when he goes in campaigns. But nonetheless, though, this event did take place, and part of it's a distraction, but, nonetheless, it still took place. Whether it was a controlled action or not, nonetheless, though, it just shows you how much closer there is, right? And, it's going to get a lot worse, Of course it is. So expect everything to turn up as we get closer and closer, So hopefully all this has been edifying. For that, I want to say, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, Wa Abal Babal. Brakathum, Jehovah Elect, Shalom.